the Underdawgs Podcast. It's your host T. Lee and my co-host Jock Cowden. The most known unknown will realize.
Was pulling up, they acting like they couldn't see me. Now she wanna clean me up like a squeegee. I told her that's on me, baby, like yellow BZ. With the peanut butter tear like a Reese.
Everybody's plotting on their downfall and maybe not expecting them to win, but they come out on top anyway.
They don't forget the underdog when they see me. I hit them with the John Cena, they can see me.
We're gonna work hard. We're gonna stay dedicated. We're gonna be motivated.
I don't know. Being an underdog is probably more of a compliment for me.
Out of sight, out of mind. All I'm saying, just be careful who you idolize. I'm kicking this scripture just before the fame. Ain't no cap in my words, I go against the grain.
If you move like keeping it peach and keeping it real, like that's an underdog.
Surpass those long expectations. You're able to keep going no matter what.
You want to keep setting an example for people to follow. So the underdog isn't the loser.
Underdog is really honing in on your talents, dog. Don't let the compliments get you high.
But as an underdog, all you got is you. That's just when you're at your peers. You have to go through that phase so that you can be prepared for what's coming your way.
Yo, what it do, good people? Welcome to the Underdawgs Podcast. We back again. We got a very, very special episode. We have a returning guest, an original guest from season 2, almost 2 years ago. But this is season 6, episode 16, Humble Visionary, featuring award-winning filmmaker, best-selling author, director, videographer, film instructor, and like I told y'all, original underdog back again. We have Donna4Film.
Hey.
Donna, how you
all them accolades don't mean nothing without God. I'ma just start it out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh, look what God did for me.
Real. Gotta say it though, you know,
yes,
humbly. Though.
Like, I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, look what God did for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's been 2 years, bro. Even though, you know, like I said, I see you every day on the internet. You know what I'm saying? We keeping up, but we really not connecting like that because we both been really grown. Which, again, thanks to the Most High for those blessings, because that just lets us know we're on the right track.
Yeah, and it's like you say, 2 years. Like in the middle of the journey, I started really figuring out like the purpose. You know. Like I knew the intentions in the beginning, but it wasn't until like one guest came on and we actually laid down like what we're actually doing and speaking it out loud. I was like, man, you know what? He right. And then that's why I was like, okay, yeah, this is. I see, you know, how big this, you know, this really could be. You know, just the circle of life.
Not how big it can be, but how big it's becoming.
Yeah, that would.
You're all right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because you're not about to do something. Y'all doing it and have been doing it, right? So it still seems surreal to us, like some of the things, just like hearing with that intro. I'm like, oh, look at God, right? But in all reality, it's just what we do on a day-to-day. It's become a part of our routine, is what we do. And, you know, we work so hard at it. You look, you know, people from the outside are like, oh, all these glamorous things. It's like, ooh, that work.
Yeah.
Ooh, that work. Ooh, that dedication. Ooh, that loyalty. Ooh, them downs. Ooh, them L's.
Yeah. Life and two in the middle of everything.
Life. And you know, I try to watch church every day on TV, 9 o'clock to 9:30. You know what I'm saying? And just get a little word in when I'm doing my thing, because it helps to keep me grounded, right? And even if I'm listening with one ear, I always hear like something that keep me moving. And I'm not, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not a religious person. The further I moved away from religion, the closer I got to God in my own personal journey, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not somebody that pushes things on other people. I can only tell you what I've been through, and you know, and the growth, right? And so just jumping into some of the things that have happened, you know, over these past 2 years. You know, we went through COVID, since we spoke, you know what I'm saying, with the world shut down, it's like that was crazy. And you know, then a lot of things came to play. A lot of people, as you start to grow, you start to see that everybody can't grow with you. I lost a few people that you know what I'm saying, were special to me. Some of my childhood, you know, my godmother passed away. I have a mentor that recently passed away from Full Sail. It kind of like people that have told me things that still rock in my head, you know what I'm saying? And then when you lose that person, that echo is still there. And it just starts to make you, again, like you said, you had a guest that came on, is them goals, is writing it down and really starting to say, where am I at in that journey? And you know what I'm saying? And where are we going? You know what I mean? And you don't always, you might think you know where you're going, but ultimately the path ain't, you know, the path and the timing ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? And so then when you learn to settle in that and just focus and you know, like I said, everybody can't come with you. That's when you start to realize, like, hey, what happened to so-and-so? Like so-and-so just can't get right now. We'll see what happens. And you just got to keep.
Show goes on. So it's nothing personal, you know, it's just the show goes on and yeah.
It's growth, right? And sometimes we try to help people, you know, and sometimes those things that they're going through is their journey, right? And so they got to go through it, and while you going through yours, and you know, you like you said, life be lifing. And over these past 2 years, like I said, COVID just shook us all. Because if I'd have told you we're gonna shut the world down and nobody ain't gonna go nowhere for how long? How long did we do that? You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, man, stop playing, you conspiracy theorists. And then what happened? Like, huh? So a lot of people, like I had a growth spurt during that time, thank God, right? Well, I got close to the family, you know, and I was able to concentrate on my craft and writing and things like that. But then a lot of people, that thing broke them down when they couldn't go outside. You know what I'm saying? And it's so I couldn't go outside, so I went inside, right? And then in that, I decided to move forward with my 501c3 and just look at the direction of where my life and my career was going and like the path that we're going. And crazy thing, like soon as COVID was lifting, I got a gig with Guy Fieri on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. I traveled with him for a full year, right? I can't even tell you, we probably did about 27 cities. I kid you not. We were all over the country, all these restaurants and stuff, in and out. And I really, you know, all respect to Guy, I really got to see how someone who started humbly, because he did, and got his thing. And like he's been on TV for how many years, right? But he got a small crew. He got a crew of 12 people, basically, that he travels on. He runs his show like an indie filmmaker, which is just, if you know what you're doing, then you know how to do it, right? A lot of people, you think, oh, he got all this money and all this stuff is going on, these big major productions. He still understands how to streamline things. So I learned a lot in that year of just watching. You know, he's an A-lister when it comes to people thinking of chefs and you know what I'm saying? He's done his thing from doing Fridays commercials to now having God knows how many shows. He got over 90 restaurants. Like, big accolades to the guy, but he's a real dude. And you know, God put you in certain situations. I go back to that because I went all over the country to places I'd have never went to and met all kind of people, you know what I'm saying, that I was in Buffalo, Wyoming and Cody, Wyoming, you know, and they out there shooting Gatling guns and, you know, all kind. I don't never, you know, I'm a chick from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't have no business over there, but it opened my eyes to a lot of different things. I got to, you know, see a lot of beautiful things, and it actually brought culinary into my life in a bigger way. Not that I haven't always, you know, made a little food and stuff, and not that, you know, us as Black and brown people, culinary and food is a big part of our culture, the culture that we know, right? You know, the culture that we still hang on to, or that we still embrace, is over food. Most cultures, You know what I'm saying? You show love and respect and friendship and memories are made over food. So bringing that culinary piece in, along with me trying to figure out what direction I was going in, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start this nonprofit because I got, I'm blessed to have seen a lot of things, right? So we want to kick off. I kicked off Humble Visionaries for Change, right? It is an entrepreneurial foundation, right? I've never been one that you could put me in a box. If you ask me what I do, I usually say filmmaker and then some more, right? But I can write, I direct, I produce, I film, I edit, you know what I'm saying? And so when I went to film school on day one and they asked me what I wanted to do, I was like, I want to learn all of this stuff. And they're like, yeah, but what do you want to specialize in? I'm like, oh, making movies. They're like, yeah, but what part? And so they couldn't understand me from day one and I couldn't understand them because I'm like, what you mean what part? We about to make a movie. Like, I'm not only going to be a director and then you're going to put me in that box where I can't pick up a camera, or I'm not only going to be on the camera side where I can't have any input on directing. I want to be a part of the putting of things together as a producer. I want to be a part of hiring all of my crew, all of my cast. Like, I want to be involved in all of that. And it, like, in the sense of everything being put in a box, I never fit that, which is why I not only got my bachelor's in film, I went on to get my master's in entertainment business because I needed to make myself well-rounded to understand the business of the industry that I was in. A lot of times when you go to film school, it's like they teach you, just like any other school, not for nothing, they teach you how to work for somebody else. When you go to college, for business, they teach you how to work, for somebody else, to be somebody else's, head man in charge, head woman in charge of something. They don't teach you how to start your business from the ground up and what it takes for you to be an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur. So I was blessed not to have the kind of household that made me go get a job. Yeah, but I had the kind of upbringing that was, let's get up and go to work. We're getting up and go to work. And that's different. There's a huge difference between the two, because when you get up and go to work, you're working for all of this that we got around us. So we got to work. And so you see a direct result of your hard work paying off, as opposed to just giving time for money. And so I say all that to say, coming full circle for the foundation, I was like, I'm about to teach a bunch of kids that look like me how to get into this industry, right? I'm gonna teach them enough for them to be dangerous, right? All of the talent that I've ever seen. So let me back up. Some of the best talent that I've ever seen in my life comes from my neighborhood, comes from my people. Organically. Holidays is coming. We know them sessions with the family. It's an uncle, it's an auntie, it's a somebody that's just naturally hilarious, and you're like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? And so the culture, the music, the film, the art, the fashion is always taken from our blood. It's sweat and blood and ideas anyway, right? So why not source it directly to where it needs to go, or at least open up possibilities, right? If you had an idea and you wanted to be on TV, how would you even go about it? You don't know nothing about that. It's a lot of people who have uncles that bring my nephew on set and make him a production assistant. Next thing you know, a few years later, the nephew's, directing films and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just had the idea of creating some opportunities in this industry, in the fields of film, in the fields of music and culinary, to start for us to get our training without, everybody doesn't have $80,000 plus to go to Full Sail. It's probably more than that now. Everybody doesn't have, film school money. It's a true story. Everybody can't go to USC and go get their degree and then end up in Hollywood doing some work. It's steps to it. And everybody doesn't have to go to film school to be in the industry. You got to know somebody. That's the reality of it. You got to know people. Even when you graduate film school, you still got to know people to get in the industry. So I wanted to create a foundation where they know somebody, and I can put them in the game. Those that want to.
Let me go ahead and share the Humble Visionaries website too.
Thank you.
So we got the Humble Visionaries for Change Foundation, aims to inspire, educate, and empower underprivileged urban youth through the film, music, and culinary art industries. We got film production, music production, culinary arts.
Guess what? It's free. It's free to the youth. The challenge is the only thing they got to do is community service. Those are pictures from us this summer. We had 2 classes going on, one at the YMCA Orlando in the Packing District, and then one on Paramore at Grand Avenue. And we created 2 short films. Both short films are actually on the website. If you go down under our visuals,
okay,
you can see them both. One was Zombies on Paramore, and then the other was Is She? Yeah, you can watch either one of them right there. Yeah, so my goal originally was to be able to impact 24 kids in the year 2024. We did that over the summer. Right, and it was like, oh snap, and then now we have a contract with the city of Orlando so that we're offering this programming not only at Grand Avenue and Paramore, but then they just rehabbed the old downtown rec center, and we're going to be offering programming there as well. So it's amazing to have an idea, get some of your people that really believe in you, and build a team, right? And say, look, team, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. How we going to do this? And I really had some great people. Shout out to Jody. Shout out to Riza. Shout out to Coach. There's a bunch of people that really, Miss Tamika, that I sat down with, and I said, these are the things that I want to do. And they opened up their resources for me. And they were like, oh, you need to go talk to this one. You need to go talk to that one. And I ended up in the commissioner's office. Shout out to Commissioner Bakari Burns. And I sat down with him and I said, hey, listen, I'm in the industry. I want to start out teaching film, and he was all for it. He was like, all right, I'm going to put you with my people. We'll send you to Downtown Rec Center. They have teenage programming. And then boom, it happened real organically. And the kids, they love it, right? And so summertime was great. Now in the fall, now we're doing a podcast. So I said I was going to pick your brain later about the podcast. But, City went out and bought the equipment. So I'm so blessed to be able to have come this summer. We created 2 really good films, right? They wrote the film. I helped direct it, and I helped edit it. Outside of that, all the ideas and everything came from the youth, right? And so they got into it, wholeheartedly. And so then I was like, when the fall time came, I was like, all right, so what we want to do? And they were like, we want to do a podcast. All right. And so I went to the city and was like, kids want to do a podcast. City went out. Here's we're going to order the equipment. They got what we needed. And it was like, this is how this is supposed to look, right? But this is only God, because most times you run into a situation where like, oh, I wish we could, but there's nothing in the budget, la la la. It just so happened that, we made it through. Based on what we did in the summer, they were like, oh, they're coming. So in the summertime in downtown, we probably only had about 10, 11 kids coming, on a regular basis. Fall came, we got 25 plus kids that sign in every Tuesday. Like, here we go. What we about to do, and that's a blessing. Because it means that we're reaching out. And all I want to do is just give some alternatives, right? You can jump off the porch, but if I teach you how to do this and we get you on a set somewhere, well, as a PA, you can earn anywhere from $200 to $300 in a day. You know what I'm saying? And you're in the industry that you're interested in. So let's just look at some of these other alternatives. Or once you learn how to use a camera, it's game on from there. Videos, you know, it's so many options. There's so many ways that you can make your money just by learning how to use that one apparatus. And so that's where I'm at with it, and just trying to open up their minds to all of the things that you can do once you know how to do that. Same thing with studio, right? Everybody want to be a rapper, but if you understand how to use them boards, everybody need an engineer, right? Mm-hmm. So how you stay in a studio? Engineer. Then people got to pay you to be in a studio, and then when you're not in there for them, you could be in there for you, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to make it make sense. Otherwise, you just sitting around waiting to, you know, or paying to get studio time when it could really be the flip side. And you know, just have these opportunities opened up for you, right? And again, I don't charge the kids anything, but they have to take care of their community. You're doing some community service. That's it. That's it, and that's all.
I love it. I remember when you were saying, like, hey, it's about to start. It's going down, you know?
Yeah.
I'm saying it, full court press.
Yep. Like, that's what we at with it. I really enjoyed that film because the things that people didn't see is a lot of the youth that you just saw acting. Mm-hmm. When I first came in there, they were quiet, they reserved, you know. A few of them really don't interact like that, but giving them a role and giving them a character, especially my SWAT guy, man, it was hard to get him out that outfit. Right? It's like, all right, bro, you know. When we were practicing one day, and someone was on the other side of the building, we were in the courtyard, and he had that outfit on. Now that his gun ain't nothing but a vacuum cleaner that we took the bottom, but it made it look official. And people was like, "Yo, is that SWAT down there?" It's like, no, calm down. He just acting the part, like he took that thing to heart, you know. And so that's what it's all about, right? The camera crew, the lighting crew, the actors, everybody really just like fell into a role, and it was a serious thing for them. And we did a premiere at Grand Avenue, and the commissioners came out to look at it, and we had probably about 45, 50 people, a lot of them kids that were not there for the summer that saw the movie and were like, oh, when does it start up? When does that program start up again? So, you know, that's what it's all about, right? And like I said, now we on the podcast. We gonna hit some music videos. You might have to come to Orlando. We have to do a music video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Like, definitely, that like with the community, that's something I'm definitely, you know, whatever. Like, I'm not, because I definitely.
I'm just trying to put these things in front of them, right? And that these are things that you normally wouldn't have the opportunity to do.
Yeah, I'm like growing up, I don't remember. The only thing I remember is, you know, of course we had the centers and stuff like that. But far as like creativity and all that type of I don't remember programs like that coming up, you know. And what you're doing, Donna, is gonna help. Like, it's gonna create something, you know, that, like I say, if they wouldn't have had it coming up like how we did, it was just we had to learn and do for ourselves. But it's like when you got the blueprint there, it's like what you creating is gonna be the future. Definitely, like, it's bringing the best out of them, you know, stuff they didn't see in themselves, and that's all where it starts at. Stuff like that.
Even down, not to cut you off, to that conversation of the two in the gym when she called the brother, like, well, what you got going? What's your sister got going on? You okay with that? You're like, well, the man used to do this. Now he's doing that. And how people really get caught up on what you used to do. And she was so stuck on what he used to do, she couldn't move forward to what the man was doing now. And so those were the kind of themes that they thought were important to put in their film, right? And so that's really what this is all about, because those are their messages. Those aren't me giving them messages. You know what I'm saying? So that's where all the difference comes in. You know what I mean? That's where it gets like, the kids did it. The kids did it. They see this. You know what I'm saying? They come through. That's it. And that's how you that's where your learning comes in, right? That's where you get to express yourself. That's where your mental health and wellness comes in, right? And so all of those things are important pieces of this, because art, that's what art does for you. Art allows you to express your emotions, express your, you know what I'm saying, your deepest inner thoughts, your wildest dreams, your fantasies. All of this stuff comes out through painting, music, film, dance, you know what I'm saying, all of those different aspects of creativity. And so now that we run on these content is always necessary. So the more that I can teach them how to create and how these, you know, treatments are put together, or how to put together a short storyline, and how to create these things. I want them to take that information and run with it. You know what I mean? Like nonstop, because there's so much opportunity in that. And then there's so many ways for them to monetize that, right? And so let's stop trying to normalize everybody coming out of high school and going to college, because it's not for everybody. And you putting a lot of people in major debt and doing things that they don't even want to do, that they got pressure on them. It's not for everybody. But there are, I mean, and we've seen it. There are so many ways that you can now monetize yourself through visuals. And those are the things that we're putting out there. Same thing with, you know, music production. Same thing with the culinary piece and the food trucks, right? Food truck changed the game. You know, so we're trying to put these different programs together just so that it now is something that's tangible. It's something that's reachable. I'm bringing it closer to you, so you don't feel like it's so far away that it could never happen for you.
That's you said a lot when you said that, you know, like, because the sense, like, you know, when you're like, especially as kids and stuff, that's what it feel like. It's so far away, you know, and all it takes is, like I say, like for you to come in the community and place that right in front of them and make it feel closer to them. Like I say, it's gonna create so much more out of it, you know. Definitely. So even speaking on 2024, like how is this year? Like, you know, what are some things you learned that you taking into 2025 to prepare you for next year?
It's kind of like what you just said. Like, you know, I knew that I wanted to do this, right? I used to teach film, you know, in technical college. So I went into it with the mindset of teaching film. I never went into it understanding how much it would move and change and grow me from the inside, right? I never realized that it's not even about teaching film, but it's more about being a mentor, and it's more about providing this safe space, providing these tools for other people to grow and watching growth. Like I said, you know, with the YMCA, when I had that class, I had students from 7 years old to 15. So that other film, Is She? That's that group. The Paramore group is only high schoolers, right? So I got such a different dynamic. I had 7-year-olds that were like, teach me the camera, like stuck to my hip, like you would think 7, oh my God, what am I about to deal with? No, they were tuned in, focused in, like, show me that. What does that do? How? And I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And just really being serious about it. And then, you know, kids going home and their parents saying, as soon as she went home, she put her ring light on and she started, you know, practicing her script, you know, in front of the camera. And I'm like, because this is what it is, right? And it's getting the confidence. So I'm thinking I'm teaching film, and that's not even what's really happening. What I'm really teaching is, you know, the confidence and you know, allowing them to look within and really, you know, bring out who they want to be, who they are, you know, and giving them that space. And so that, taking it into 2025 is like, okay, so now I had it at this place, I had it at that place. How how can I duplicate this so that we can get it to more communities, not just in Central Florida, but across the nation, right? So that's where we at with it. Man, I'm coming your way. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm coming your way. I'll be your way in a minute. Before you blink, I'll be your way too. You know, and that's where we're at. We're just trying to. We have the blueprint, right? And the blueprint is in every city. You know, it's just a matter of you're taking talents from two spaces. I went back to my alma mater, Full Sail, and was like, listen, we're offering an internship for those that are just graduating, coming out of school, about to come out of school, that may want to be instructors, right? And just give them an opportunity through this internship to interact with the kids while they, like I said, where they just got out of school, or, you know, and trying to get their footing in the industry. When you're an independent contractor, you don't know when you're going to work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to give them an opportunity to get their skills out there while impacting the community. And so it's a win-win for everybody, right? It's a resume booster. It's allowing them to interact with the youth. It's being a mentor. And when you, again, like I said, when you start to see the people that you're dealing with impacted by the things that you're saying, that's an undescribable feeling right there, right? And so as long as there's a city that has a college that has some sort of film and music program, then we can also provide this other thing, because it would be partnering with these different colleges and universities, preferably starting with HBCUs. We just don't happen to have HBCU in Orlando, but that's the trail that we're going after. So just a goal of being able to spread this physically to more locations, more major cities, as well as open an online platform that we can do some things. Just to keep interaction going, right? It was an idea that exploded in my lap, and it's like, whoa, okay, we can go so many different directions. We're looking at even possibly bringing sports into the game, right? We got NIL deals going on now, and what's happening now? That just brings a influx of vultures coming into the community to grab our raw talent without them having the business of. It's the business of things, right? And we know how to play sports, but now that we have an opportunity to monetize that sport playing at a younger age, who's going to come in and really have your back, right? Or are we just going to find ourselves in a whole bunch of situations that, you know, really end up being detrimental to not only our growth, but our future, just so somebody can make a quick few bucks on us? You know what I mean? They would have, you know, burnt you out before you could get out of high school. You tore up every ACL, every, you know, tear up everything for them before you can even get a chance to, you know, to get out there and do your thing. So being an entrepreneurial foundation, we have the ability to move around and offer all different programming based on the needs of the communities.
No, that sounds like too. That sounds like Humble Visionary would be like in a kind of like a branch off Donna, in a sense. How you said can't box you in. There's so many different other things. It's almost like you're pouring yourself into it, you know.
That's exactly what I did, bro. And I mean, because, you know, I have friends that do things. I have friends that have podcasts, right? So now we got podcasts like, hey, we're gonna hit up T and just ask T a few starter questions that we may have, you know, that may help us get our, you know, our hangout podcast. That, what are they calling it? The trending topic is where we're at right now with our name, but that might change. But you know, there's a lot of questions, and I like to. One of the things that I've been doing, like the sci-fi makeup, they did all that sci-fi makeup themselves. I had someone from Full Sail, shout out to Mickey. You know, I have friends that do different things. So like the kids want to do a podcast, I'd like to be like, come on, let's hit up T, because this is what he does. And so to continually put people that look like them in front of them that are doing the things that they want to do, right? Because it makes it closer, right? There's no translation that has to happen there. It's like, wow, this guy looks like me. He's doing it. I have a question. And you feel more comfortable asking a question. It's just natural. That's just how this works, right? And so I had a young lady, Mickey, come in from Full Sail. She does sci-fi makeup and stuff, and she taught them how to do that zombie stuff. And then she came in, taught them one time, and then they took it from there. And they did all that makeup that you see in the movie.
I feel everything you said, because it's like, growing up, I used to watch TV and see the rappers, and we ain't seeing them in our communities and stuff like that, but we feeling like, man, it's a dream, versus nowadays it's like, okay, like you say, get people together that's doing different things or whatever and stuff, and put them in front of the kids, like that's big, because it helps be like, it's a part of their story. And the earlier you get them, it's like, okay, when they turn like 20 and they 18 or something like that, they doing an interview or whatever, and wherever they in their journey, they say, well, all started with Humble Visionaries, organization. And like, it's just like a word of mouth thing. It's going to keep spreading because so many kids are going to be impacted by it.
That's what we hoping for. And I'm excited to see where they going, right? Snoop Dogg, he had his football league for years and years and years. And so I saw this year one of his players actually went to the NFL. Like his first baller is now in the NFL. And I felt that moment for him. I'm like, yay, because you want to see that kind of stuff, right? That's what you do it for, so that somebody can take what you've learned. It's just like what we always say, boy, if I knew this when I was such and such an age, if I knew all this stuff now. So it's like the stuff I know now, I'm just trying to let them know, because I already have that head start.
But I feel that too, because it's the impact. And when you see like how far like your idea start with an idea, and then it becomes reality, and then it's like the impact of like
the growth. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It's nothing about me, right? It's not about me at all. It's about this. I learned this and I want to share it, and then take that and rock with it. And I'm just excited to see how far, they can run with it. I want to see them run as far as they can. Like the whole idea of competition to me is like, it gives me a headache, right? And it's like people in competition with each other, and it's corny, but the same thing. Like you go down the bread aisle. I went down one today. It's so many damn different types of bread. It all gets sold. It all gets sold. There's so many different people in our world, and the internet makes the world, puts the world at your fingertips. There's so many people. It's going to be a bunch of people that's going to pass by your brand. So what? It's so many more people that's going to pick your brand. And that's who you want. You don't want the people that's going to taste your shit and spit it out. You want the people that's going to love you. So you find your tribe.
That's the exciting part about it, though. When like you wake up every day and it's like it's always somebody that's gonna figure out about what I'm doing. Like it's never gonna stop, So it's like, it's always, and I look at it like always somebody that don't know me, don't know the platform, whatever. So I got a reason to keep going and pushing, because somebody always gonna catch on to it,
That's it. It's never old, right? It's always gonna be new for someone. Right. And so it's a lot of stuff like that. And you just got to keep pushing. And so understanding, the self-confidence, right? Understanding who's giving you this power, these gifts, right? And then just walk in it. Like you want something, you just walk like it's already done. Because it's already done. You just got to go get it. It's already done. It's already promised to you. You just got to go get it, right? It took me a lot to learn that. You can't pray and worry at the same time. You pray for it. All right, I'm moving. That's easier said than done when you got bills to pay. You got people, you know, you head a household, you got responsibilities, right? But I know that this work is important, and it's work. It's really work, right? But it's fun at the same time, and it's rewarding. And so, because of the success, I know that I'm doing the right thing.
Let's talk about the seventh veil too.
Seventh Veil.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that movie for a long time. Shout out to Mr. Henry. That's the book that I wrote. So Sheehan Henry, he's a black grandmaster here in Orlando. This story is loosely based on his life story, right? He had this idea about this movie. He came to me. I was like, yo, we should write it as a book first, and then the book based on a true story, and then a movie based on a book. So we did it that way. It was my first time doing a book. It was fun for a while. Just like anything, it's work, right? It's fun. We got to the bestseller list, and so it doesn't matter now that things are online. As long as you hit bestseller, you can hit bestseller for 2 seconds. That just means you was a bestseller. We was on it for longer than 2 seconds, but that's just how this internet stuff works now. And so we made the movie, and we're doing a premiere on the 15th of November here in Orlando at Fashion Square Mall. It's on Eventbrite, the Seventh Veil, the movie. And it started out one thing and just kept developing. Like, I had an idea in my head of some bad females to be the bad guys, and I just couldn't find them. And then at the last minute, I found them. So
you said, Donna, November 15th, it'll be premiering?
November 15th at Fashion Square Mall. They're going to do a red carpet premiere, and then we're getting it on Tubi as well. So it'll be on Tubi, hopefully before the end of the year.
So like, can you tease, the people with like a cliffhanger of like an intriguing moment that would lead the viewers one more, like have them, something you can feel without.
I don't even have the trailer available for you to see right now because we got an exclusive copy of it. But it is a story about how we get caught up, right? It has some action in it. It highlights a life. It's a drama, but it's a typical story of when you're not humble, and all of a sudden you get that light, and you think it's all about you, and how you can make some of the wrong decisions by chasing some of the wrong things. But then life has a way of coming back at you, make you look at your choices, and you start to remember what Grandma said. Grandma told me I shouldn't be out here doing this, and so it chronicles a life of Maine, and the main character's name is Maine, like Jermaine, and he just starts out as a good guy and then can't get right. And then you start to, like I said, you reflect on your choices. He becomes a victim of his choices, and I'm just going to kind of leave it there. Yeah. It's a good film. We enjoyed making it. We had a lot of fun. And again, everything I love to do. Again, like I said, this was based on Mr. Henry's story, but I still was able to get in there and stick some messages in there while we having fun. And I think that's the fun part of it for me as a filmmaker, is to kind of teach you something without you even realizing that I'm teaching you something. I learned that from the Wayans brothers. Message, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I enjoy that. So it's a family film, right? No cursing in it. Feel good film. So that was a little different, and try to get all those things in there without doing too much, and just keeping it G-rated, really. And that's hard now, and for a lot of us that have kids, like, that separation is getting harder and harder to do. And it's like, can I turn on the radio and hear anything that we all can listen to? Is there anything that we got right now that I could turn on the TV and we can all watch it? You know what I'm saying? That's not too much or just things. There's no, all the lines are blurred. I feel like an old person when I say that, but you know, I got kids and it's hard, or I'm around a bunch of little kids and sometimes it's like, ooh, you know.
Yeah, I feel like everything
we made one for the family.
Yeah, I feel like everything be so they be trying to influence off of everything, you know. That's really what it comes down to, how much influence this can have, you know, and it's important with kids and stuff, you know. So
because they wide open for it, you know what I'm saying? They from little, they wide open for whatever words you don't want them to say. That's the one they gonna pick up. You know, so from little all the way through, and so those messages are important. Words are important. You know, we say that all the time, and so you know, my responsibility as a filmmaker, yes, is to entertain, but more for me is the messaging, right? And so there's things that I'm allowed. Thank God that I'm allowed to be able to say, oh, I'm not going to do that, and I haven't had to do it, and I'm not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not always the case for a lot of people. A lot of people got to do whatever happens to pay their bills. I just am blessed enough to have the skills to be able to take from a bunch of different pots because I helped to plant those seeds in a bunch of different places while everybody else was doing other things.
Nah, fair. So as we speak, you know, moving forward, you know, as we have you on, you know, speaking things into existence, like, how do you envision your role evolving within the film industry moving forward?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of bangers that I have been writing. I'm going back to writing. I stopped writing for about a year because I was working on a bunch of different projects as well as a nonprofit. But now that that's up, I can go back to writing. I have about maybe 2 to 3 personal films that'll get out in 2025 that I've been holding on to. And I'm just going to keep doing more of what I'm doing, right? I'm building a crew, right? I'm building a crew. So my Humble Visionaries crew is going to be lit. And, you know, we're about to take these stories to the next level. The beauty of being able to understand how to create it from A to Z, you know, is what allows me to be able to continue to do film. And I don't have any restrictions other than locations, basically, you know. And then when you know how to write it, you can write your film where it's all outside. You don't even have to deal with, you know what I'm saying, a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, I'm just looking to get back in the game and really start to drop a few Donna4Film exclusives. I've been working with a lot of people over the past years, but I'm bringing it back home.
No, definitely. So a thing we kind of added on, you know, that we do towards the end of the show, we like to ask a few bonus questions.
Okay.
So if you had to choose between directing a blockbuster or an intimate indie film, like, which would you pick and why?
Oh, I'm doing the indie all day because blockbusters come with rules, right? Number one, I never want to be famous, right? I still, to this day, I don't want to be famous. I just want to make movies. So that blockbuster stuff come with all kind of weirdo stuff and a whole bunch of rules and things you can and cannot do. And they restrict your creativity. When you have an indie film, people allow you to create your art. So I'm indie all day long.
Yeah, nah, that blockbuster don't even sound right when you said
no,
you can't.
No, they over your shoulder, right? The people with the money, they over your shoulder. So yes, it's good for your career if that's what you want to be. If you want to be a well-known director that, you know, everybody's talking about. I just want to make movies and be able to live good. You know what I'm saying? I don't need all that stuff. I'm not here for that.
So well, I kind of probably already know which route you're going with this, but Would you rather work with a seasoned actor or a promising newcomer, and what drives your choice?
I want both. I want a mixture, and the mixture is same concept as Humble Visionaries, right? When you have somebody that's already been in the game and that has gone through some things, then they can help the new ones coming in, and that help reflects on everybody, right? It allows your seasoned actors to feel revitalized in the game, because sometimes people get burnt out, when you do stuff and you're, they don't, they need a new something refreshing. And then as a young actor, being able to work with someone seasoned help you step your game up, right? Stand up taller, straighter, hold your head up. So I think the combination of the two, and I think Tyler Perry did that in his last project, Bold and Black. Don't make me lie on the name of it, but his last project has a few older seasoned actors as well as some of the newbies. And whereas he normally starts out with a lot of newbies, or he goes with all season, he doesn't normally mix them as heavily as he did in this last project. And I think it's a great combination for both. But I'm gonna pick a new actor. I'm gonna pick a new actor always because their attitude. A lot of times, all actors sometimes have been mistrained or been through traumatic things that make them feel like they need to act a certain way. And that's a generalization. That's not everybody. It's just different actors based on their experiences. This industry is not easy. And as we start to see some of the things that are unraveling in some of these other instances, it's a lot that some people went through to get to where they are. And a lot of it is trauma based. And so, that's real. A lot of it is trauma based. And so sometimes you deal with that off camera in the back, and you start to hear about all these fights and bickering between, the director and the actors and the stars and all this, star stuff you start to hear about. It's because a lot of that stuff is built up in trauma.
So
doesn't
really
show on camera. And then when you got to change who you are all the time, you don't even know who you are for real. Right? When you're an actor, you're always somebody else, so you very rarely get to be you. And sometimes, again, with the blurred lines, right? And so it's a lot to the psychology of an actor and understanding that. So when you catch them new, it's in my personal opinion, can sometimes be easier.
Nah, I feel that because I've heard of like certain directors, the environments they create, because I talked to another director from Duval, and he was like he liked to create an atmosphere where everything, everybody getting along together. That's how he go about choosing his cast. And he said a couple times it been, but he tried to make it where so everything flows, good.
You become a family, and then that's where the camaraderie shows naturally on film. But when there's tension and when there's but sometimes you want that, right? Spike Lee in School Days, he had that scene about good and bad hair. He had light skin versus dark skin. And true story is he had the dark skin girls in jacked up accommodations. They had jacked up service. They had jacked up craft services. And he had the light skinned girls, and he was treating them all special, so that when it came time for that scene, that tension was so real. And if you go back and on YouTube and you flash at that scene, you can see they was really going at each other. And then at the end, he had to do a whole kumbaya, but he created all of that tension on purpose so that they really could be in their feelings when they were acting, and they definitely were. I thought that was mean and fun at the same damn time, but it came across great on camera, so we do what we must.
Nah, that's strategic though when you're doing it for a purpose versus just it's just happening,
It is, but you pulling at people's emotions, right? But what does a movie do? If you do a movie right, it's pulling at people's emotions. It's it's making them think, it's inspiring them, it's you know, it's shifting their soul,
Nah, most definitely. Cause I look at it just like music and movies the same way.
Right.
Like art, everything creative wise is pulling emotion.
Some of those songs, you know what I'm saying, come from deep ass hurt. Some of them, you know what I mean? And then some of those songs come from so much joy, right? And so there's songs that you hear from them, you hear the first few notes, you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying, right away. So it's the same deal.
Right. So if you could only tell one type of story for the rest of your career, social impact or pure entertainment, which would it be?
Social impact all day long.
I'm already know it. So
I was born on Juneteenth. I can't help but social impact.
Oh yeah.
It's my birthday on Juneteenth. I was born on a historical day, like for Black people. So like social impact. I was born into that.
Just where you come from, and when you said 2 years ago, you know, coming up, seeing Spike Lee and just what was going on in New York, and it's embedded. You know,
that's it.
So you can't do nothing but expect it from Donna.
That's it, right? And I'm bringing it to you raw, but I'm not intrusive. I'm just keeping it real.
So you know, we got to talk about that underdog mentality. So when it comes to being an underdog, why do you believe it's crucial, you know, to maintain the underdog mentality, you know, after even reaching, you know, the success?
It's the humble visionary thought, right? An underdog in my mind it's the same thing, right? I need you to underestimate my ability so that I can continue to grow, because you grow through those things. The moment that you realize what my potential or our potential really is, then I'm a danger to you. I'd rather you just keep underestimating me as an underdog and letting me live my life in this light and keep creating more and more people with the same mindset that is a positive growth mindset, as opposed to trying to do things to be in the limelight. So underdog, let's stay under the radar, right? And continue to do what we're doing and build our communities up and build our children up, build our youth up, build our, you know, our wealth, you know, our health up. So that's where I'm at with it. Like, yeah, keep me an underdog, keep me, you know, underrated, all of that. I need for you, keep me humble, you know, keep me out of your sights so that I can go ahead and keep with the vision that I have and do what I feel it needs to be done for my community, or that I hear that my community needs, if it's within my reach. And if it's not within my reach, help me to be able to reach out to someone that can help give a hand. I don't want a hand up. I don't want a hand out, but a hand up.
No, most definitely. And within the last 2 years, can you share a moment where embracing this mentality, you know, helped you in difficult situations?
Oh, just understanding that this industry and your path on this industry is bigger than you, right? And just knowing your worth, building your skills, continuing to keep your head down in the grind is what gave me an opportunity to travel with someone who has a $300-something million contract on television and been on television for 15 years and put me in a crew of 12 people, right? Of all of the people in the industry around the world, I was able to make it for a year onto one of the toughest production crews to get on, and they noticed me. I didn't even apply. So yeah, keeping your head down and just doing what you're doing, people take a look at you. It's the ones that sometimes are loud and I do this that turns people off. People just want to see you, want to see results, right? Not what you're getting ready to do, but just putting your head down and grinding and seeing that, wow, maybe if it's not complete, but they're on their way. That'll be complete in a little while, and just seeing, you be serious about your craft and your abilities and doing what you do in your work, right? All you have is your name. And so if you're not standing up, what King say, standing on business, if you're not standing on business about yourself, right? And if you're not concerned with every interaction of keeping your face clean and not concerned about, doing the right thing, then it's going to show, all this get rich quick stuff. It ain't what you think it is. And if it happens real quick, then you just got to be careful about what you're about to sacrifice for it, right? And so, the work ethic is something that they're trying to bleach out of the success, right? Nobody wants to talk about the work ethic that it takes, especially for people that look like me, to get to these levels. You look at Viola Davis, she's been in more movies than a lot of these women that, that don't look like her, that they revere, and she doesn't even make 1/3 of what they make. Meryl Streep, she's done way more stuff than some of those chicks, and she still does not get the type of money that they get, but she's done their work and more. And so in knowing that, and just not concentrate, I never concentrate on the money. You concentrate on the money, you got it all wrong. It's never going to happen like that. You got to concentrate on the work, and then the money's going to come abundantly. And so keeping your head down, and that's what I learned. That's where that got me, just being able to have opportunities that I would have never had if I would have not carried myself in a certain way.
Nah, Donna, you just really spoke to me with that, because it's like you say, the connection and alignment. What you just said is how, aside from the podcast and stuff, like the music, like I came in the game, what I came in with is the same way what I'm doing right now. And I came in at a time where it was like, I'm not looking for no quick money. I'm not looking for no fame. That stuff ain't, all the social didn't even exist then. It wasn't even popular, cool to do. It was just like, okay. So it's like really just the crowd. I'm just focused on the crowd. I always been focused on the crowd. Like, yeah, it's cool to see people clap, and you want to feel that or whatever, because it's like, all right. But then when you get the confidence and like, I know my worth, I know what I'm doing and what I'm putting out. But then, like you say,
when you put it out there, the people will show you.
Yeah.
They're gonna be moved by it. They move by it, and then that's the reward right there.
Yeah, that's what I like to feel. Like, okay, the social impact of these messages and stuff I'm giving, because like I say, I'm pouring back into it with the game gave me. So the artists that influenced me, I listen to a lot of music that gave substance. So I take pride in that. It's just not just where everything is headed right now with hip hop and stuff. It's like the game wasn't like that when I, was consuming it. Right. So, and I know that music still, it might not be, of course it ain't popular because of the messages now in the music, but people that like the people that really enjoy music for real is going to appreciate the artist being an artist.
That's exactly right. That's it. I mean, and there's prime examples of that in today's world with a Chance the Rapper, with the J. Cole's and stuff like that. They have a different message, and they still we love their music and still respect it, and we wait for it, right? But they few and far between based on where they used to be. So you just keep making good music. That's the key. And the people are going to request that. The people are going to be looking for that. And like I said, it's just like that bread aisle, right? The people that's really looking for you, when they come down that aisle with all that other stuff, when they see you, you're like, that's the
Yeah.
one.
They don't
That's
care
it.
how high on the shelf it is, they gonna grab it.
That's what they came. They looking for what they looking for,
Yeah.
and so it's just a matter of making those connections, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't get caught up in numbers. You be like, man, 100,000 people. In the scope of things, 100,000 people is small.
All it
When
takes
you
that
have
one.
millions, right? I mean, we'll take that, right? But then if you get 100,000 rejections, you shouldn't take that as being rejected at all in the sense of the opportunities, right? So, the streaming game has changed it. It's different. It's a huge opportunity for us on the music and the, visuals field.
Mm-hmm.
And so we no longer need those gatekeepers. So when you ask me about that blockbusters, that's for the gatekeepers to tell me what to do, what the movie gonna do, who's gonna be in the movie, what I'm gonna do in the movie. Now if your indie becomes a blockbuster, then you're a bad mother sucker.
Yeah.
Just like them dudes from Moonlight back in the day, because that's what happened.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened to them. I mean, it's happened in a few other cases, but not as organically as that. Because they were strictly indie and boom, blew up, right? And they still knew people, and they still had, not to say they were newbies in the industry at all. They did have some industry experience, but it came down to how they produced their film and how they did it on a shoestring budget. And the way that it blew up was amazing. And that, again, that's hard working God. It's some things that people will say, no, it'll never happen. It can't happen. It won't happen. But that's how it works.
Oh, thanks. Like I say, Donna, it was definitely, the honor to have you back on here. Sit down conversation, because I just soaked up so much, myself. And I appreciate, the words. And so, as the end goal on the path for where you headed, where you see yourself headed, just doing the work. Like, what legacy do you hope to leave in the film industry through your work, and also with the foundation? Well, I know the foundation, you say you wanted to touch. Yeah.
Yeah, I want them to be one and the same, in the sense of, not only did she create herself, but she created a platform for others to be able to create that normally would not have had that opportunity. Kind of like my favorite hero ever is Harriet Tubman, because she brought people to freedom. So kind of in a sense of, on some Harriet Tubman, where I'm bringing people to a space that'll offer them the ability to be free financially if they hit the right note. To give them options, free financially as far as being an entrepreneur and being in charge of their own destinations, as opposed to trading time for $1. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying we are the creators of the culture. Everything that is successful has come through our blood. So let's start believing in ourselves a little bit more, so that we can actually be the true source of these things, as opposed to allowing these things to be stolen from us and then handed back to us in portions.
Nah, that's facts though. It start within self, and I always tell people, like, you the only person that can tell yourself you can't or it's not possible. It's like outside sources. I just be feeling like, either if they're not, really fond of what you're doing or whatever and stuff, so it creates a perception of it not being attainable. But It's like, that's, I wouldn't look at a person like that to tell you, like, oh yeah, they don't do music, but they say, nah, I don't think that's gonna work. I can take constructive criticism, but it's just like, it ain't gonna stop. You're gonna stop the journey. This journey been going, So
right, exactly.
But that's big and that's major. But like I say, Donna, like once again, you know, thank you for coming back on the platform. You know, like
No
I say,
worries. Glad to be here.
It's always endless support, you know, from on our end. You know, whatever you need from us, you know, is nothing. You know, but like I say, appreciate you coming on. You know, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
It was season 6, episode 16, Humble Visionary, featuring award-winning filmmaker, best-selling author, director, videographer, film instructor, and like I told y'all, original underdog. This was Donna4Film. Make sure y'all go check out humblevisionaries.org. Go check out those short films by the kids, and just stay tuned.
Buy T-shirts, send a donation. You know, we all that. Support the cause. Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you, Donna.
All right.
Gold mouth, rabbit on my teeth. I got carrots. Open up a mouth and she got vocals sound like Janet. Marble on the floors, but the kitchen kinda granite. Lean color perk, you would think it's pomegranate. I see flying saucers finna roll another planet. It will fall in place if it's meant to be organic. I got crazy lingo, you would think I'm speaking Spanish. I'm something like a pie, never leave without the cannon. I'm enlightened, I got stones around my neck. If you pay attention, I teach her how to earn respect. I walk around with a tag like I'm mad at the rail. People do any damn thing for a check. So what if you got signed labels, throw them on the shelf? I don't ask for help, I just go within myself. Hard times I prevail, I bust up out my shell. I let my nuts hang, cause they don't got no curfew. Gold mouth,